gentlemen, welcome to Xbox the Box, the Xbox podcast. My name is Potato. I'm with my good friend, as always, Alice. How are you doing, Alice?
Hi, my pronouns are she, they, and we've been through this Xbox showcase, both the main one and extended one, so we pretty much have a lot to go through today.
Oh, yeah. It was one of the greatest shows ever. Well, you gave it a 6 out of 10. I gave it a 9 out of 10, but we will get to that. But,
I did give it the rating from the main showcase, but it's actually a much higher rating when I throw in the Starfield Direct, which is like 9 out of 10.
True.
But the extended showcase is
so good.
not a lot special because I wasn't really expecting anything huge to come out of it. But anyway, doing the Starfield Direct, they announced there's like a special headphones and there's a special controller, and I'm like, I feel I might get that because did feel as if I was going to get a Design Labs controller, and I might get that again because last year sent in my Design Labs controller. They didn't touch on it for a month before they decided to give me a refund. And apparently someone else is like having positive experiences with it, meaning they don't break. So I was kind of tempted to get the same kind of colors and try again with another controller. But as soon as I saw there's a Starfield controller and it looks really good, I decided to get it. So this is what I got here.
Yeah. I'm so annoyed because I ordered it the same time as you. And then apparently the UPS truck came today and didn't even knock on the door. I got an email saying, "We missed you. I'm sorry. I've been in all bloody day." What do you mean you missed me? And now they've taken it away from me. I have to go collect it in my lunch break tomorrow when I'm in work. So annoying. Why couldn't they just leave it outside? I'm so annoyed. You got it. I want to play on there. I want my Starfield controller.
Well, is it by UPS? Is it?
Yeah, I think it was UPS.
Because that's what I got for the UPS when I ordered it through Xbox. And it should give you emails and everything. But then...
Yeah, they emailed me after the fact saying, "We missed you." I was like, well, I was here and you didn't knock or anything. So that's pretty annoying.
Anyway.
Oh, so annoying.
I had it sent over to my family home anyway and was picked up, lucky for me. But as soon as I got that, I felt like, oh, I need to make a video before I open the box up. And so I did a unboxing vid, where I unboxed it, showing the controller, and also showing it working on it. In fact, I just got so impressed with the controller. Like, there's a rubber grip, which you can feel right there, two-toned. And there's also a cover, which has also got text on it, which it shows right here's, if you can see here, for all into the Starfield. Come on, focus.
Ooh.
Anyway,
looks nice.
You should be able to see it in a vid anyway. So, but yeah,
jealous.
There's a couple of things I did not mention in the unboxing video because I was in a bit of a rush for the extended showcase as I was getting a bit late for it. If you see on the controller here, it's really nice. It's got a different kind of patterns and everything, and this one is still not focusing on it. Come on, focus.
Focus, goddammit.
But yeah, if you see here, these keys over there, if you see mode and scan, those are kind of controls you expect to use in like Starfield. Yeah. So that's
cool.
It is. And then
I'm so jealous. I'm so annoyed.
If you notice, like over there it shows there's a grip here, meaning it represents the rubber grips. And it was when someone pointed out, it's like, oh, there's this text there, and then it just points me to, oh, this is actually the controls for the game. So that's fun. Also, there's someone else on the comments for the unboxing vid, and it says like, if you actually let it rumble, you should be able to see functions inside the triggers.
Ooh,
so
I know that's cool.
So then, if it can focus on it again, that inside the clear, there you go. This is like completely clear. It's not smoked or anything. But what I didn't mention is that if you see there's a gold-plated thing there, there's also a little tiny mechanism that if it rumbles on the triggers, on the adapter triggers, it's just the disc will spin. And this is what really makes it very special. This
is such a cool control. I'm so jealous. I'm going to keep saying I'm jealous because I want it.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is I didn't have the chance to play with it a lot, but I found a there's a Switch converter as well, which if I plug in a Switch and then hook up the Xbox controller to it, then I can use it on my Nintendo Switch. So I made a short out of it where I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I've also spent about like roughly 20 or 30 minutes on playing Advance Wars with it. And yeah, just as long as you know how to use this A and X instead of A and Y and vice versa, then you should be able to like use it properly. Mind you, I got it for like many years. It's like, it's cool, but I just hope it doesn't really break soon. But it also makes me it's still no like replacement for the Design Labs controller, which I got, and I'm still missing it. It makes me feel like I want to order it and see if I can get a working one this time. But if it doesn't, then I might as well swap the internals out of it and just put in the ones from the used black controller, for instance. So whatever. Yeah.
I mean, apart from the way it looks, I'm trying to think of the word. That's not the right word. Aesthetically, is there any difference between that and like my Volt green one? Really, apart from the way it looks, there's like the
you mean your green screen controller?
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. My invisible controller, it's magic. Whoa, yeah, but yeah, it's a Volt green or invisible as but yeah, no. Is there any difference between that and a normal controller? I mean, apart from the way it looks, I imagine there's not really any like differences. Really, I'd imagine.
I just hope that the liability's improved all for it, because I spent like 70 quid on it, which is also like $70.
Yeah,
it could be the same.
It's quite expensive,
but it's just therefore I just hope the liability is good. But the major differences are only cosmetic. Only that, compared to the mobile controller, which I have here, this white controller, if I just bring attention to it, this one does not have rubberized grips, and on the top, it's just like it's smooth right there, and you only get the like grip on the angle there. Which on the Starfield one, there's a bit of a grip on the top of the shoulder ones. Also, the triggers are like gloss finish, so it's really smooth. But apart from that, it's just like not. Isn't like a lot of cosmetic differences.
It would have been so. It would have been so cool if we could have both showed off our controllers today in the podcast and go, we both got the same control. Never mind.
We can next week anyway, but
next week we'll show them off.
But I think really it's just the controllers are what you get. Like if you like the look of the controller and you're looking forward to Starfield, then it's a good buy. But apart from that, you're pretty much better off with either a normal controller or a Design Labs controller. But I would not recommend getting the Series 2 Elite controller, because these are known to be really bad when it comes to reliability, which is crazy. Like when you have Design Labs for those things, and it just makes me think like you only have it for like a year before using it in the repairs. But I don't know. Like if anyone's got a Series 2 controller that they did through Design Labs and it's been working for over a year, then I'm glad to hear it. Let me know in the comments if it's happened to you. But But I think, to be honest, like if you can get the mobile controller, you get in so many good colors, like pink, green, for instance. But if you want to like get special colors for your controller, do it for Design Labs. It's slightly a bit cheaper compared to the Starfield controller, which looks very good and comes with rubberized grips.
Yeah, and the see-through triggers as well.
Yes,
which is nice. And the writing.
I just hope like it just becomes reliable for a long time, and if it still works, pleased. But yeah, this is pretty much the controller. We haven't ordered the headphones, but I know one of my friends have actually ordered the headphones and received them in post, so it's quite nice. But these are pretty much similar to the Xbox headphones, which you can buy for your Xbox.
So I have the Xbox headphones, the original black ones, but I've never used them. So I don't see the point of buying another pair of headphones that I'm never going to use. So that's why I haven't bought it. I got the black headphones and I've never actually used them at all.
Oh.
So
didn't know you have them.
Yeah. Where is it? You know, see the wired ones though, so it's a bit cheaper, but yeah.
Well, just offer it to me. I'll see if it's still useful.
Sure. But yeah, so that's I put that in our news section, but we've already covered that. That's good. So as we always start off every podcast, we're going to also talk about what we've been playing. We're going to try and keep it brief because we have a lot to get through. So shall we start off with what we've been playing?
Well, to be honest, I think this episode should be all about the showcase because there's so much to go through and so much games to discuss as well. But
yeah,
because I think for me, I think the only game I've played is Advance Wars, but I only played a bit of Halo Infinite just to get a tank skin, and I also played a little bit of Breath of the Wild just to show off my Starfield controller, and that's about it.
You mean Tears of the Kingdom? I know it's...
oh yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, I got to level 100 on my battle pass, so now I'm ready for the next season of Halo. Woohoo! Can't wait for that. And then I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and I've also been playing a lot of Diablo 4. I just want to talk about Diablo 4 briefly before we move on, because that game is fantastic. I haven't had a chance to talk about it since I got it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm a druid. I think that's the race I am, a druid, and I have wolf powers. I turn into like a werewolf and attack people with my werewolf powers. I also have a pack of wolves with me because I'm obsessed with dogs and stuff, so I just thought I'm just going to go full wolf man. And the guy even looks just like me. Like, I was like, he's stolen my likeness. He looks exactly like me, the character, so I had to pick him. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing is a bit of Halo, a bit of Zelda, and Diablo 4, which I really like. I wish I had an offline mode so I could level up without having to be online. The first boss is a pain in the ass, but I finally got past it, so I'm looking forward to playing some more for sure. And if anyone wants a co-op Diablo 4 with me, I would really appreciate it, because I had a lot of people saying they wanted to co-op with me, and ever since I bought it, no one's played with me, so... Same with Street Fighter. This is why I play single-player games. You can't rely on other people. Just going to say it.
Same. Because I remember, like, about over 10 years ago when I got the Xbox 360 in 2006, and I got Crackdown. Part of it's like getting the Halo 3 multiplayer infight, but then I didn't have a chance. I didn't get around to trying it out. But I've played the Crackdown, and I got all the achievements except the co-op achievements, where you have to like try to get all the co-op stuff done, and then turns out nobody wants to play co-op with me just to get all the achievements. I've been like even begging people on the forums, because back then you only have the official Xbox magazine forums, and I've been like asking on that part and been asking around bits because there wasn't much social media. But it's just so annoying because like there's literally no one around who wants to help you like get the co-op achievements, and it just makes me think like co-op achievements are just so much of a bothersome.
Yeah, they're annoying. I hate co-op achievements. Boo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we've been playing. I mean, should we just move on to the news? Because I said we wanted to try and keep it brief, and we kind of covered it.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously our main news topic is going to be the game showcase and the Starfield Direct. However, there is a couple other things we wanted to cover just before we got into it. So after the main showcase, we had the extended showcase, and also Todd Howard had an interview with IGN, and Phil Spencer had an interview with Giant Bomb. So there's a couple of little news articles, little tidbits we need to discuss. We're going to try and go through them as quick as possible. So obviously the big news everyone has been latching onto and everyone's been discussing on social media and all over the internet is that Starfield is 30 frames on Xbox. Eesh. I mean, yeah, I prefer 60, but I can live with it being 30. I mean, what do you think?
It's pretty much like the whole Skyrim scenario. Like, I know that Oblivion is only 30 frames per second, but when you have Skyrim, you can either play on the Xbox 360 or 30 frames per second, or you just get on PC and you'll be guaranteed the 60 frames per second. So, I mean, that's how I got Skyrim at first, where I bought it for the PC, and it works really well, even better when you have mods on it. and I think this is the best way to play Starfield. But I'm just definitely going to play it on my Xbox Series X for my Starfield, because I think the consoles are still easier to get to. I'm in the midst of getting a new PC, which is almost done. So, then, but it would mean I have to save up more for a new graphics card and even make sure it's just get everything working. But even so, I still intend to use it as a work computer.
Yeah, no, I get that. I like the thing. I'm sticking with the Xbox version. I might be getting a laptop soon, maybe. Hopefully, if I get some financial luck and get a little bit of I'm starting to save up for a laptop, hopefully. But yeah, the thing is, people go, "Oh, just play it on PC. There's 60 frames per second on PC." But how many PCs can you get that's cheaper than an Xbox Series X that can run 60 frames a second? Not many. You need to be very, very frugal and very clever with what parts you buy if you're going to be able to make a computer cheaper than an Xbox Series X that runs more powerful than a Series X. I'm going to be honest.
Also, I've been doing some research on PC builds, and you're definitely going to end up paying more than double for the Xbox Series X experience, unless you want to grab a bunch of items from marketplaces and everything like eBay, old graphics card and whatnot. Because I think the Xbox Series X could be in the RTX 2000 range or some sort. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But right now, that if you were to build a new PC right now, I mean, I spent roughly about £1,000 for a new PC without the graphics card. Whereas graphics cards, if you're going last gen and stick with RTX 360, because at the moment it's proven to be a much better value than the 4060s at the moment. Go as far as 4060 T, but then that is not much of a huge upgrade over the 3060 T. So chances are you will be spending about between 300 to 400 quid on one of those graphics cards. But if you want to get a better graphics card for 4K, you just go GTX 1470, and this can range between 500 to 600 pounds.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of PC gaming is not a cheap thing. People make it out like super cheap. It's not. It does cost money to get into it, and I would love to be a PC gamer, but it's just again it's just being able to afford it and trying to get into it. I mean, the way I see it is, I mean, I'm gonna ask you the question, and see how you feel about it. Would you prefer the Starfield we're getting now at 30 frames per second, or would you want a 60 frames per second version of Starfield with worse textures, maybe half as many planets with a bit less features?
Half as many planets?
I don't know, like a smaller version of Starfield, a less impressive version, a less one that's pushing the boundaries. Would you prefer them to have made a compromised version of Starfield, and just so it can hit the 60 frames per second?
I prefer 30 frames per second, to be honest, because I grew up with games that are 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a bit ridiculous, people making their fuss when it's not 60 frames per second. And I think it's even coming from people who play on PC and just couldn't consider their machines perfect unless it hits over 60 frames per second. But also bear in mind that monitors also have higher refresh rates. You can get 120 hertz, 240 hertz, and people are now trying to push for 120 or 240 frames per second refresh rates, when many of the top AAA games at the moment it just reaches towards 110 frames per second.
Yeah, I mean, my TV is 4K, but it only does 60 frames a second maximum. It doesn't do any more than 60.
Same with me.
I couldn't see 120 frames on my TV even if I wanted to. The way I see it is, I've played you were saying about Skyrim on PC. I played Skyrim on the Xbox 360, and I played video games my whole life on console. And frame rates, I prefer if it was 60. It'd be nicer if it was 60, but it's not the end of the world. I've played so many games in my lifetime that are 30 frames a second. It's not a deal breaker to me personally. I think the game looks really impressive, and I'm really excited for it. In spite of the 30 frames a second. And also, I didn't mention this in the Todd Howard interview. It's not in my notes. I should have mentioned this.
But before you get to that point, I also want to say that the reason I prefer 30 frames per second, that it's already proven to be a really nice looking game, which already has some of the best shaders and also delivers some photogenic views, and I think it's really great. And I don't really want it like 60 frames per second, because you said there's have as many planets. That's not true, because that does not affect the amount of planets you have in the game. But it does affect the draw distance, so you won't be able to see many planets or stars. And it doesn't. And you're going to end up having muddy textures, as well as like some less detail on the foliage, especially the trees. So if it's going to be like 30 frames per second, then we'll go 30 frames per second, because it's what really makes it the best experience. And you can definitely tell the Bethesda's aiming for those kind of graphics on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, so I mean, what I was going to say is to do with the 30 frames per second thing. Well, actually, it's just in graphics in general. Is what Todd Howard was saying. Apparently, he has a big TV setup with Xbox Series X where he would play all his games. But apparently, his kids have taken it over. So basically, the only time he ever plays Starfield, he says he plays it on the Series S. And he said he has a really fun time playing it on the Series S. So if it runs well on the Series S, I don't see what the problem is, really. Obviously, he's not going to say, "Oh, it's rubbish on Series X. It's a piece of crap." He's not going to say that, obviously. But I still think the fact that he said that is a good sign for the Series S version of it. The fact that that's his main platform for playing Starfield when he's not in the office, which is interesting. So I thought I'd mention that as well. So obviously 1080p, but be interesting. I don't know. I'm not. I think the frame rate thing has been a bit overblown. I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yes,
it'd be nice to have 60, but I don't think it's the end. It's like it's a role playing game at the end of the day. It's not like I'm not like it's a competitive shooter where I'm going to be at a disadvantage against other people or anything like that. I'm playing. It's a single player game, so it don't affect me too badly. To be perfectly honest. Is there anything else we want to talk about frame rate before we move on to the next bit?
Just move on.
Yeah. So Todd Howard also said that this might be the next Elder Scrolls game might be his last Elder Scrolls game, and the next Fallout might be his last Fallout game. Which no one's immortal, as much as we call him God Howard. It kind of makes sense that he's saying it takes like 8 years to make these games now. He's not getting any younger. I mean, that's pretty much what he was saying. Essentially, is like game development's taking longer and longer, and he's getting older. So. Yeah, a bit sad to think that Todd might be on his last 2 or 3 games. He might be he's probably made more games than he's going to make going forward, which is a bit sad to think. But obviously, as I said, everyone's no one's immortal, unfortunately. And when he does retire, I'm sure you'll earn it because he's does some amazing stuff. And yeah. It's a bit of a bummer, but obviously the next Elder Scrolls game I think is going to be a banger. It's going to be awesome. He's going to put everything into that, I imagine.
I would imagine
he's 2028.
I would probably imagine he's going to play so much of Skyrim and Fallout. But I've already beaten the complete Skyrim on my Xbox Series X, but I haven't actually dipped my toes in any of the Fallout games. And if any game, I would have tried either Fallout New Vegas or even Fallout 4, but probably not Fallout 3. I did try the PC once, but fell off it. But I just don't know whether it's to go New Vegas or even Fallout 4.
Well, Fallout New Vegas everyone says is the best Fallout game. So,
good.
But obviously you've got Avowed to look forward to as well if you're really looking forward to an Elder Scrolls kind of type game. So there is that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's Todd. I mean, he mentioned loads of stuff. Those are the big things from those interview. I'm sure there's more we can probably cover next week. And we had Phil Spencer having a little interview with Giant Bomb. He says that there is no need for an Xbox Series X Pro as of yet. There's no demand for it. No one seems to be one-to-one as of yet. But then he would say that. He's not going to say, yeah, we're making a Series X Pro. Please wait and don't buy our Series X. Well, we're working on the Pro, is he?
Well, I think you already got enough, like, a screen resolution as well as a good refresh rate, which therefore I don't think there's any need to upgrade. But I think there should be a slimmer version of it and something that has better internals. Like, at the moment, I think there's some, like, teething issues with it. Even though it's significantly better than, like, the original Xbox 360, because that was a huge nightmare before the Slim fixed it.
Red Trigger Death, yeah.
But then, I think one of the videos I saw is that, yeah, I just noticed, like, apparently there's this extra SSD in there, and it's like fully encrypted. Like, if it fails and bits, then it cannot be repaired by any third-party thing, and it just ends up wrecking your console. So this is a bit frightening, because it just goes on to say that all Xbox Series X consoles could die one day, because the SSD that affects it is like has a lifespan of between 5 to 10 years. So it's more like a creepypasta science story. But then I just hope, like, when they do this Slim one, they will aim for the console that is, like, more longer lasting and future proof. So I'm just hoping that Microsoft would actually release a slim version of a console and have better internals, just like what they did with Xbox 360 Slim, because that is brilliant. Also, they also did, like, Xbox One X, which is 4K version of it, but it's much smaller than the original Xbox One, and that is, like, my favorite console, possibly my favorite console of all time. So I can trust Microsoft to actually make a slim version of it. But then again, I'm just hoping they would do the slim version of PlayStation 5 too, because at the moment that one's a huge bulk.
I mean, the PS5 is hideous. I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, but then if you spoke to Phil Spencer and said, I want you to have a thin, slim console, surely he's going to say we have the Series S. Like, isn't that what the Series S is to them? Like, they think that's their slimline version.
Well, I think
especially the new one in black.
Out. I can disconnect it.
I would like to get, I would like to get the Series X, Series S in black as well. I think it looks nice, but just saying.
Aha, got it. Look at that. This is what I got in the moment. So, yeah,
beauty.
but yeah, it's just you can get it in black, which comes with 1 terabyte of hard drive, which means this is as close as you can get to a good Xbox Series S. But apart from that, you just cannot get it in, like, 1080p, which is no. I mean, it does. Yeah, it's only in 1080p, but it doesn't do 4K. But not 4K. So the closest you can ever get to the Pro Xbox Series X is everything you love with Xbox Series X in the 4K, with all the 4K and the 120 hertz in the Xbox Series S housing. But I think, to be honest, with that, with all the internals of, like, Xbox Series X, that would be a really huge sell, and it's gonna be, like, really nice. Like, it better value of money, and also runs all those games. Because if you stick with a Xbox Series S, then it's just all you need, provided you don't mind playing it in 1080p. But then Switch is, like, between 720 to 1080p. Was mostly like 720p, so you're pretty much not missing out too much with the Xbox Series S. So
yeah, I mean, I like this. I think the Series X looks like a nice little piece of kit. Only thing I mean, like, so I mean, would you buy a Series X Pro for £600 or make £700 if you could play Starfield to 60 frames a second? Like, would that be a selling point for you? I mean, that's the question. That's why a lot of people are bringing up the Pro thing, because they're saying that they want Starfield to be running at 60.
Not that much.
No,
also, I think if Microsoft's going to release a new variant of it, then they should be boosting the performance for ray tracing, because that's the biggest thing that I mean, all the consoles of the current generation are struggling with, because as soon as you put ray tracing in it, it slows down the gameplay significantly. But I think, in my honest opinion, I would rather have an Xbox Series S that has 4K output than to have a Pro Xbox Series X. And that's what I prefer, because that Series S is so fun, so portable, that you just really wish it would be in 4K.
Yeah. I want to get a Series S now. I've seen the Series S Black. I'm really tempted to buy one. I'm like, well, I don't need one. It's literally just be for the sake of it, because I don't need it at all, but I just want it.
You should get it in 1 terabyte, because that's what they're
get the black one
at the moment.
Yeah. That's the one I'd be getting, the black one for sure. Right. Anything else? So Phil Spencer also mentioned that id Software are hard at work on their next game, and he's excited for them to show it at some point. We kind of gather that, even though the Xbox showcase this year was pretty good, and they had a lot of games they showed, there's still a lot of games that we know are still in development, or we theorizing are in development we haven't seen. Or, there was no Indiana Jones or Perfect Dark or Gears of War 6, or there was a load of games that we know are probably in the works, like the next Doom or Quake or Hexen. I'm sure that there's probably plenty of really big stuff coming our way, but we don't know about yet, which is really, really interesting. I mean, the rumor is that Xbox is saying that they're aiming for 4 AAA games every year now going forward, and hopefully they can hit that target. So obviously 1 per quarter. And they've I mean, if you count Redfall as AAA, because it was awful, but they've done it this year, and they're probably going to do it next year if you follow the schedule. So because you obviously had Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, and then you get Starfield and Forza, so that's 4 big AAA games. Then next year you get Flight Simulator, Hellblade 2, Avowed, and Tower Born. So, that's pretty good going.
Don't forget Fable, though.
I don't think Fable's coming next year. I think that's going to be 2025.
Oh, that's a shame.
It would be nice if it was 2024. I would love that if I was our big game for 2024. I would love that, but I'm not getting my hopes up, because I think that's still a little while off, unfortunately.
I think it's just a shame, though, because I was saying in the reaction, it's 20 years ago. Gosh, I got a bit. There's used to be about 8 titles 20 years ago you can get on the PlayStation 2, whereas Xbox has got more than 4 games, but now it's Microsoft's only focusing on 4 games each year, which means part of it's just it requires more resources to play through them, and therefore it's just every game needs a lot more resources and trying to hit the expectations, and it's just really a shame. Also, I just watched a video, which I don't remember the name of this person, but there was a 4-hour video to say why the games are dying out, and there's reasons to do with greed, there's poor launches, and 2 things that work with each other is dealing with bad criticism mixed in with a lack of change as well. So it's those things. It's just kind of points as if we may have another game crash, because you keep having huge games that will launch really badly with lots of bugs.
And you also have games that microtransaction people, and people hate that, and have poor services and stuff. Also, I didn't write this in the notes, but in the Phil Spencer interview, he also mentioned the fact that AAA games are going to take 4 to 5. Don't take. No AAA games are made between 2 to 3 years anymore, is what he said. He said that most AAA games are going to be 4 to 5 years at least, which is 100% true. I don't see why people think that's a controversial thing to say. AAA games are a lot harder to make. Maybe Nintendo's got the right idea. Maybe you underpower your system, but then you can make games quicker. It'd be much quicker to make games for 720p frames. I know people are want 60 frames per second, but I would rather have lots of really good games than have one game that's 4K, 120 frames a second, where you can see someone's pores dripping with sweat and all that. I don't need all that. I'd rather just have fun games, to be honest. And maybe I'm more of a fan of the AA space instead of the AAA space in that rate. But yeah, it is like it's hard for people to develop AAA games, and it does take a while. Like Starfield took 8 years. Fable's taken God knows how long. Like there's so many games that like Halo took 8 years, didn't it? Halo Infinite between
6
Halo
years.
Infinite and Halo 5, 6. But yeah, it's not easy. AAA games are not easy to design, so I get that.
Well,
so
I would have to say that I think part of it's like there's some acceleration which causes like hardware to evolve so fast that you just end up like having more power, having more components. Like since I built the PC like 10 years ago, I thought it was like that's pretty much it. Like I built a PC and the motherboard and the bits in it are fairly small. I used to have a Shearbox PC that runs Oblivion well with a small graphics card, and I thought that was enough. But then when I built a PC that now it just like requires bigger components in, and it's needed to cool off it. But when I built my new PC, it's like much better when it comes to cable tidy, and it's the first one I put like M2 cards in it. But then you still feel as if you need more fans and you need bigger coolers in it because components are getting hotter and use up more power. But ironically, like if you see the video by Linux Tips, more and more games are working with Mac with high graphics because you have silicon chips that will offer really huge graphics for such a low power output. And this is what makes a Mac Mini so good and efficient because it doesn't use so much power.
I didn't know that. That's really fascinating.
I will show you the video once we're finished because this is very fascinating.
Sure. Yeah. Also, I was going to say as well is like, if you give me a choice between having a load of Vampire Survivors or Horizon Zero Dawn, I take Vampire Survivors. I want a game that's going to put I feel like Vampire Survivors pushes the genre forward by having a ridiculous amount of sprites on the screen and pushes the system in that way. And I prefer that than someone who just as I said, makes someone's paws look super realistic. Like ooh, you can see the sweat dripping off their forehead. Don't care. I want a game that pushes gameplay. I mean, that's what's important to me. I feel like that's what we should be using the power of these new consoles should be used to make games more fun and to push gameplay forward, not just to push graphics. Personally, that's my opinion.
I feel that I think it's reason that we should need a next Mega Drive or next Super Nintendo where you only have a system as small as like the Xbox Series S, but then it plays all the games you want for less power, and I think this is what especially needed. And I think I would definitely go for that, especially if he uses cartridges, because the thing is, we should be aiming for like higher expectations, like high graphics. That's something that PC gamers would easily get to. But I mean, if you have like Switches or Mega Drives in and like don't have so much about power graphics capability, but it makes it quicker to build games for it, then it totally works. Especially you have loads of indie developers now who don't have a lot of like power when it comes to building their games, but they still release really good games like Pizza Tower, and I think there's also Stuffed coming out, which is a multiplayer teddy bear shoot 'em up. Well, it's more PvE. Speaking of which, I need to look that up. But my point is that you shouldn't really be aiming for consoles that are like so powerful and try to compete with the PC market. But instead, you aim to release consoles like, I mean, I want more Xbox Series S's that like doesn't give the most powerful graphics, but it gives you everything you need to play games that are fun, rather than something that are like the best looking games ever.
Yeah, I think we're in the minority though, but I think there's a lot of people out there who are just literally all they care about is graphics, which is sad because as far as I'm concerned, gameplay is king, and that's what always should be the most important thing.
Well, I think to be honest, the thing about graphics has been going on even since the 80s or 90s, because I remember there was a lot of talk in the 90s where, like, if it has really good graphics, it really makes a good game, and that's what I thought. And I thought they would just moved on from it, but now it's just like, graphics is important, that sort of stuff.
I mean, the thing, like, obviously with the Sega, it was what was it, blast processing, was what the term they made up. That wasn't even a real thing. But no, I was going to say games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Last of Us Part 1 and stuff came out like 10 years ago and they still look really good. I think graphically we've kind of hit a ceiling where we don't need to really go much further than this. I think we should start focus on gameplay. I think that's more important. I've said this multiple times now. I think gameplay is king, but there you go. Personally, that's just me. We've been talking about these little bits of news for a while, so maybe we should jump into the extended showcase so we can get on to the regular showcase.
Yes.
So extended showcase wasn't a lot there. Keanu Reeves talked for a bit about how awesome he is, and we were all like going, "Oh, Keanu, we love you, Keanu." And then what else happened? They showed a bit of Avowed again. They showed behind the scenes of Hellblade. Probably the biggest thing they showed was the Hi-Fi Rush DLC, which we assumed to be in the main showcase, but was in the extended. The Hi-Fi Rush DLC is basically like an arcade mode with 2 different gameplay modes. And different outfits and stuff you can unlock.
Yes.
I mean, do you want to go into a bit more detail on the Hi-Fi Rush stuff, or?
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's only like a few modes there with some like unlockable stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but there was one basically where you start off with you're like level 0 and you have to unlock everything again as you can. It's like a battle tower where you just keep climbing it and killing people. And then there's another mode where it just gets faster and faster and faster, like BPM mode, I think it was called, which is also really cool. And then obviously they got you could unlock a skin that looks like a PS1 skin, which looks hilarious and great, and just like different skins for characters and stuff. But it's nice. We're getting some DLC for Hi-Fi Rush. Possibly one of my game of the years this year, I would say. It's right up there. It's a fantastic game, and if you haven't played it, I'd highly recommend it, especially if you have a Game Pass. It's definitely worth playing. Hi-Fi Rush, we love it. Only other thing is they showed a couple of idea Xbox games coming to Game Pass. I'm very excited to see Neon White on there. I've heard that game is fantastic. I've heard a lot of people say there's the game of the year last year, but I've not got around to playing it, and now it's coming to Game Pass. So yay, Neon White! Everyone says it's great. Definitely worth playing. Also, Phil Spencer played 33 Immortals with the developers. That game looks fun. 33 player Diablo type game. Looks fun. And that is our news, I guess. So it's quickly gone for the extended showcase. Was there anything else you wanted to mention from the extended showcase before we move on to the regular showcase?
Just moving on, but I already changed from news to showcase, which I thought it's actually part of the showcase thing, but then never mind. But to be honest, at the extended showcase, there's not a lot new from it. There's Lightyear, Frontier. There's even
good, yeah.
Some announcements, but apart from that, it's just pretty much expands on some of the games mentioned in the showcase. So
yeah, we were both annoyed that there was no Halo there, which I was very surprised by. We had a lot of live service games that they were showing off, but no Halo, which was surprising considering the new season's coming out in a week. Very strange. So let's move on to the Xbox Game Showcase in our topic of the show. Jazz hands.
Yes.
I don't know if you put the transition in there. So we both watched the conference together. I've watched it a couple of times since, and this morning I watched Giant Bomb reacting to it, and I literally took a note of every single game as it came up. So we're literally going to go game by game. If there's a game we're not really going to talk about, we'll just talk about it really briefly and just skip over it. But we are just literally going to go boom, 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 right through it all, I think. So obviously, one of the biggest announcements of the entire conference was first Fable. Very excited for Fable. Richard Ayoade from the IT crowd as a giant. I mean, what's not to love? I'm totally down for it. It's got a lot of dislikes, though, apparently.
Why?
It's great. Because a lot of people don't believe that this is actual gameplay, even though it said it was gameplay and it said it was taken in engine. So people are being cynical, even though this is the Forza Horizon people who make photorealistic video games, and they always have.
Yeah. So that's what the Playground Games are known for, doing Forza Horizon.
And also, I've seen a lot of people online being chauvinistic pigs a bit, saying, "Oh, the main character's a woman and she's not super attractive." Like, okay, it's a fantasy game. She looks like a character from like a fantasy storyline. It's like, why? Like, it's the same thing they were like saying about Aloy and stuff. I'm like, really pathetic. I don't get it. People who are like that.
I think there's a lot of bigoted speech on it, so I don't think it's nihilistic. Yeah. It's actually more prejudiced or bigoted on it. But that's bigoted, But that's just sad. Ridiculous because
very sad.
To be honest, I like the trailer. It's just they only shown snippets of the gameplay, but to be honest, it still confuses me. Like, I know this realized that the quest is about like fighting off the giant, and I thought it was really interesting. But initially, I thought it's all about like character being small and going through the small world, or it could be like it's just a Fable game. But I don't know if it's like a remaster, remake, or even the reboot of it. And this is what I'm most confused about.
I mean, I think it's a reboot. I mean, it's essentially they're making their own version of the game. I would be interested to see if there's choice and consequence being good and evil, because that was like the big thing in the original Fable games, wasn't it? Is being good or evil. And like Peter Molyneux over exaggerating everything. Like, if you put this in the ground, it will grow into a tree after 100 years. I'm like, shut up, Peter Molyneux. That's complete rubbish. but no, like that was like the whole thing with the original Fables, was mainly if you're good or bad, essentially. And I wonder if they've scrapped that, or if that is going to be a big thing in this one, like choices and stuff.
Well, that's the thing, because the trailer didn't said enough. There's not even like a segment on the showcase. It's just like there's a Fable game. It's by Playground Games, and that's it. It just shows only one of the quests, and there's still more questions about like, what's it going to be, or is it going to be like just the first Fable without any of the gimmicks of the original? And this is where it gets really confusing.
I think it's good that it's got the sense of humour. It looks like it's got the sense of humour of a Fable game. It has the kick in the chicken, which is obviously a throwback to the original Fable. It's got British humour, British act, like, you know, obviously you got a really famous British actor, Richard Ayoade. From if you haven't watched any of his stuff, I highly recommend Travel Man or IT Crowd. They're both hilarious, and he's hilarious in them.
I don't recommend the IT Crowd because the writer is a much bigot than the reviews there.
Oh, fair enough. I haven't gone back to watch it in years. I might be mistaken. But yeah, I like Richard Ayoade, though. He's a really funny guy. Right. And I thought the game looked great. I personally can't wait for it. Yeah, I'm excited. As I've said, we're not sure how close it's going to be to the original series. It's like this is their own take on it. So I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued to see where they go with it. Yeah. So should we move on to the next game?
Yeah, we should.
South of Midnight. What is this game? The trailer was interesting. You had a weird guy playing guitar. You had this woman coming up to him saying, "I want to find a monster," and then the monster showed up behind her, and she did like some woo magic, and it was like kind of like stop motion animation, sort of. I don't know.
Well,
it looked a bit weird.
It's got reduced frames. It just kind of goes for the more animation thing, but then. Yeah. Still doesn't make sense, lacks context, and I don't even know like whether this is a adventure game or it's, as you say, a Grumpy Dad walking simulator. So it doesn't really make sense.
So PlayStation Grumpy Dad walking sim, yeah. No, well, so afterwards they've said it's a third-person action adventure game, is what they said after the fact. But the trailer didn't really explain that or show that. I don't think it was a very good trailer, to be honest. I don't think it really summed up the game very well or explained what was going on. I think they should have set I don't know. Like, I feel like, we'll get to it in a minute, but I feel like Clockwork Revolution really summed up the world, the plot, the gameplay a lot better than this game did. It was just a guy playing guitar for like a minute, and then a girl whining at him, and then doing magic. It didn't really explain what the gameplay was, really. So yeah, that was a bit of that was probably one of the low points of the conference for me. I'm really excited to see what Compulsion do next, and I'm really excited for an idea of like a Mid-South fantasy game. But I want to actually know what the game is. I would like to have actually seen some kind of like gameplay or something. You know, I know it was all in engine, but you know, something. Right, then we had Star Wars Outlaws. You play the female Han Solo, K something, and she has an axolotl cat pet, which is cute. And you're an outlaw. You're a bad one. You're a baddie. Even though you're not bad, you're like an outlaw. Looks interesting. It's Ubisoft, open world. Have you watched? Did you watch the gameplay afterwards? Because I went back and watched the gameplay on the Ubisoft forward, and I thought it looked kind of fun.
No, I didn't know there's Avatar game, which to me I thought is a bit more exciting, but I haven't checked out both of these trailers anyway. Because there was a Ubisoft showcase after the Xbox one, and I think it expanded on some of the games there. But
that's why I watched a little bit there, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't actually check out any of those trailers.
Yeah, so it looked interesting. Like the trailer they showed in the Ubisoft was basically she's trying to sneak into a place, gets caught, escapes, and then she comes face to face with an Imperial person who wants her to. The Imperial person wants her to bribe her, and she says no. And then you basically almost like Grand Theft Auto. It just says like "woo woo," you're like the Empire's after you, wanted. Like almost like getting 5 stars in Grand Theft Auto, and then she runs to get into the ship to get away from the Empire, and then she's in space trying to get away from the Empire and stuff. It looks fun. It looks almost like ironically, like a smaller Starfield with like a Star Wars kind of take to it. It's like you're gonna go from planet to planet.
Well, I think this is as close you ever get to, which is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Because that game's been announced,
looked a lot like
but
that.
Then it hasn't been touched on ever since.
It looks a lot like I thought that when we watched the trailer. I thought it looked a lot like Beyond Good and Evil 2. It looked interesting. I thought the new characters looked cool. I thought the world. I mean, I love Star Wars. I'm probably going to play it at some point, but I'll have to see more. I think it looked interesting. I think it looked like a cool game, definitely. Again, people being misogynists, saying, "Oh, female character, boo!" Like, get a life, touch some grass. Yeah, okay. Then we had 33 Immortals. I think I mentioned that briefly. Phil played that in the extended conference. 33 player Diablo or 33 player
Hades.
Yeah, Hades. Yeah, I was going to say Hades and then just drew a blank. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of it? I think it looks pretty. I think it looks cool.
Should be all right. I mean, it's coming on Game Pass, so might well have given a tryout and see how it goes. But then, yeah, it's just kind of similar to Hades, but then it's got a 33 player, which kind of looks a bit like Star Wars Battlefront. But then, I don't know. Like, is it tended to be a PvE battle royale or some sort? And I'm more curious to know what it is.
Because we saw the gameplay briefly, and they had like as I said, they had area like the area was shrinking like a battle royale. So that looked kind of fun. I don't know. I think it's just gonna be a 33 player co-op game with like raids and stuff, which would be cool. So the first 31 of you who want to join us in a bit of co-op, comment below. The first 31 of you will join us in co-op when it comes out. For sure. I mean, that would be hilarious. Yeah, I need to rewatch the thing with Phil because we watched it together on our reactions, but we kind of talked over a lot of it, so I need to rewatch it and see what he has to say. Looks interesting though, for sure. Okay, then we have Payday 3. Big get for Game Pass. Not really my thing, but it's really cool that it's coming to Game Pass. I think that's a really big get for Xbox.
Well, mind you, it's more of a co-op game, and I know it's like Payday 2, and it's even better if you have someone like-minded and willing to play this game with you. So I think it's really good if you're into like co-op stuff, but either way, it's like really good. But also, I think you should mention in the extended showcase, there's also Phasmophobia, which is also a co-op ghost hunting game, and it's been announced for Xbox, which I imagine is coming on Game Pass too. So both of these will be really fantastic for anyone who like enjoys co-op multiplayer. So I think this is pretty much a good thing for Xbox players, really, if they have to like co-op.
Good ideas. So I just had an email from Xbox saying that like I could collect my controller tomorrow, so that's cool. Just so up next we had Persona 3. Looks rad. I'm super down for it. What do you think? Are you going to be playing Persona 3 Remake?
Probably not, because otherwise I'll be playing like Personas 4 and 5. But it's also nice that Microsoft is like working with Atlas to like release Persona games. And also there's a Persona 5 Tactics, whatever this is.
Tactica, yeah. That's also listed on our thing, yeah. I'm really excited for the 5 Tactica because I like tactics games. So, I mean, you've been playing Advance Wars. I really like Fire Emblem. So, anime tactics, I'm totally down for trying it out. It sounds fun. I'm gonna try Persona 3 as well. I think it's gonna be a fun remake to play. As we've been saying lots of I say it every week. Xbox, buy Sega, buy Atlas and Sega. Just do it. Like, it's good though that basically Xbox has got PlayStation's got Square Enix, come and team with us, Square Enix, who will have all the Final Fantasies, and then Xbox has gone like, hey Sega, do you want to team up with us? And then Sega's be like, yeah, cool, we'll work together. Boom. So basically all the JRPGs from Sega side can go to Xbox first, which is cool because I prefer Persona to Final Fantasy personally. That's just me. I'm excited for Persona 5 Tactica coming to Game Pass in November, so that's my big November game to play. And then Persona 3 is coming next year. And then also on the list is Metaphor Refantazo. I probably pronounced that wrong. Fantazo.
It does look very good. The style is nice, and basically it's more of it's just another one of these RPGs. But you thought it was a Shin Tensei Mercury, is it?
Shimigami Tensei. I thought it was Shimigami Tensei. It looks very similar to Shimigami Tensei.
But only it's a original IP, and I think it's really stylized, so it makes me wonder whether it's like going to go down pretty well, which I'm hoping it will. Because I think the Xbox needs a really solid JRPG just to get the console free.
Oh, for sure. I was going to say, it's really funny because, I feel Persona is a spin-off of Shimigami Tensei, and it's more of a light-hearted version of Shimigami Tensei, right? And I feel like this is a spin-off of Persona that's more dark. So it's kind of gone back to where... So it's like, oh, okay. But it's made by the people who made Persona 3, 4, and 5, and it looks cool. It looks dark, it looks edgy, it looks... Yeah. I mean, we if you're an Atlas fan, you're eating good in this conference. You got 3 Atlas games in one conference. That's nuts. Like, could you imagine, 5-6 years ago, saying, "Yeah, Xbox has a load of Persona games and Japanese titles on their conference." Like, could you imagine that? I couldn't. They're literally getting into Japan now. Finally, they're finally starting to make a dent, which is great. And I'm very excited to play some Persona. Speaking of RPG, I don't know what that was a terrible transition. Avowed. Again, controversial, apparently. A lot of people online don't like the look of Avowed. I think it looks great.
Yes.
I don't know.
Also, it's directed by women as well, which is quite positive because it just seems as if the game's likely to have a lot of faith into it. But to be honest, it does look good. And to me, it's much smaller than Skyrim, according to it. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a bit bigger than Grounded. But so far, I think there was a lot of things there which makes it really more like a follow-up to Skyrim. And I have to say, this actually looks very good. So that's something I'm hoping it will go well.
I think it's this, as we were saying earlier about Todd Howard making only maybe one more Elder Scroll game before he retires. I think this is the thing that will hopefully tide us over until that point. Because the next Elder Scrolls game will probably be out in 2030, 2029, 6-7 years from now, I would say, maybe longer.
For another Elder
Scrolls. Yeah, because that's the next game they're making after Starfield comes out. So,
but I will be in my 40s.
I know. Oh, me too. Oh, no. Avowed though, we've got Avowed to keep us busy for a little bit. I hope. As you said, it's a bit smaller, which is a little. Well, I don't know. Is it disappointing? I've never managed to finish Skyrim, so maybe it might be good for me to I might be able to 100% Avowed. It looks cool. Xbox is now the home of the Western RPG, and I totally down for it. We get Starfield this year, we get Avowed next year, we get Fable the year after that. We're eating good for Western RPGs for sure. I think that's awesome. Avowed. I thought it looked great. People online are a bit not happy about it. Like IGN didn't like it either. I was surprised. They all think it looks too bright and colourful, which I'm like, why is that a problem? Are you right, Alice?
So I think I'm like dozing off a bit. But I can assure you that Avowed is still the game I'm most excited to. But I think I've just been through so much of a showcase and extended showcase that it just like got me to process all that information and like just trying to sort that out, because I've also been doing the PC that kept me all night, and also been dealing with lots of like issues with technology too. But I just hope everything will just sort out. But now it's just like more stuff to go through. It just means it kind of throws a span in the works, which I'll be talking privately with Lewis anyway, so I'll be doing that. But as for Avowed, yeah, it's better call for it to come out next year, but it's a shame that it didn't come out in like 2023, because that would have made it another good title for Xbox.
The only thing about it coming out this year, obviously, is you'd have to compete with Starfield. Obviously, it kind of wants its own space away from Starfield, I suppose. Shall we speed through it a little bit then? So let's get all the live service games out of the way. Let's just do them all in one go. So Sea of Thieves does Monkey Island. Cool crossover. Still not going to play Sea of Thieves, but hey, nice crossover.
Ron Gilbert wasn't notified or even told there's going to be a crossover for Sea of Thieves, and I think he was pretty annoyed about it, because according to Eurogamer, which if I can bring this up 2 seconds.
Yeah. Go ahead. Because, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Because that's a fairly, like, how do I put it? It's a pretty serious. Well, I don't know about how serious it is. So, and come on, where is it? I literally forgot about it, and I haven't got the article up.
That's all right.
You know the Power Wash Simulator? There's a SpongeBob SquarePants DLC.
Yes, I do know that. Yeah, that's random. I know.
Hold on a minute. So I'm just trying.
Neither of us have been sleeping very well. I'm very hot and I haven't had much sleep either, to be fair. So I get it. It's totally. Weather in the UK is horrible at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and oh gosh, there's been so much news, and I've been struggling to keep up with it. Also, the Blood Dragon anime is coming out on Netflix, but it's fairly different compared to the game on the Xbox 360. So it just looks more like Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Oh, nice. Okay, should I just move on to the...
I found it. That's weird. It just kind of resetted itself. But anyway, so yeah, the Monkey Island creator had no idea the Sea of Thieves crossover was happening. And apparently, Terrible Toy Box says Disney gave Gilbert heads up on the project as a courtesy. What?
Doesn't make any sense.
Developer Terrible Toy Box has contacted Eurogamer to address Ron Gilbert's earlier statements regarding the Monkey Island and Sea of Thieves crossover. Disney did give him a heads up on the project as a courtesy, but the game was well into development at this point that he wasn't given the opportunity to be meaningfully involved. And then, yeah, Gilbert cares deeply about Monkey Island and wishes the team at with the project. So the original story is that Ron Gilbert has no idea that the newly revealed Sea of Thieves crossover is happening. And yeah, it's just like there's only a few people who worked on the Monkey Island and didn't know about it. So it's a bit awkward, but it sounds as if it's going to work out in the end, so the crossover is still going on.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fussed on Sea of Thieves or Monkey Island, but I think it's a very cool crossover, and I think, yeah, it's a nice little touch. And it's a bit, it sucks that the original creator didn't know about it, That's a bit lame. I don't like that. But yeah, interested. It's an interesting crossover. Hoping people are going to enjoy it on both sides of the fandom. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly go through the live service games because just getting them out of the way. So Fallout 76, Atlantic City. Yeah, you had a sing-along song about how great Fallout 76 is, and neither of us were interested. We both were kind of like, next. Yeah, I thought the DLC they showed off in the extended showcase with werewolves and stuff, I thought, like giant turtles, I thought that looked way cooler than the Atlantic City one, to be perfectly honest. But I thought, yeah, interested, I guess. If you're in like Fallout 76, good for you. I'm not interested, but yeah, good for you. ESO is getting the Necromancer DLC, or Necrom. That's coming out in July, the 20th of July, I believe, where you can be a necromancer and it's dark and edgy and yay. Another one I'm not interested in.
It's very similar to the Dragonborn DLC based on the Sussex there, so that's interesting.
And apparently it's Morrowind based as well, which is interesting.
Yes. But
it's something of Morrowind, if I remember.
But yeah, there's also like there could be more live service games, but to be honest, I'm not interested in any of that crap. And I'm more interested about like Halo Infinite's showcase, where all of us have been told that we might be getting a Season 4 sneak peek, or even mentioned in the extended showcase, but it was nowhere to be found. And it's even like a few weeks before the Season 4 comes out, which is disappointing because it would have revealed more details, as well as a new armor core, which is a hazmat, and there's also like teasers of a new weapon, but I don't know if it's going to be in the game or not. So unfortunately, it's just like it's didn't shown there. But what the 343 did say is they're going to follow up with a trailer in a few days or an extra week time just to reveal the features. But I still find it disappointing that there's no mention of Halo stuff here during the conference. So it's really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, Halo is Microsoft's Mario, right? It is the face of Xbox, so it's surprising that they wouldn't mention Halo at all.
No.
That is weird to me. Yeah, that was strange. We do have one more live service game I just wanted to mention briefly. They showed Overwatch 2. I'm like, why? No one cares about Overwatch 2. You're bringing out all this new DLC. No one cares. The trailer felt weird, and it just felt out of place. Probably the low point of the whole conference for me was the Fallout, the Overwatch 2 and Fallout 76 trailers.
It just like sucked up more time out of this whole thing. And also, what I did find very, very confusing about the Overwatch 2 trailer is that they said they're not going to bring back, they're not going to do any single player campaign or PvE modes, and it's going to be cancelled. Yeah. But then in the trailer, there's actually PvE game modes, and I'm like, what? Are they actually like doing the same as with the original Overwatch? Because what I gather is that they're not doing any single player stuff with it, and therefore Overwatch 2 is just basically a game with DLC in it. And now they just mentioned like PvE modes, so I just feel like Blizzard is clearly screwing around with this sort of stuff. But then Overwatch 2 is pretty much, well, failed to live up to its potential, and just like, oh, more cosmetics that you have to pay extra for it. So
yeah, not interested at all in Overwatch 2 or any of these live services, to be fair. The only live service from Xbox I play is, as you said, Halo Infinite, and I'm surprised they didn't show more of it. Next up was we had a brand new Flight Simulator 2024. Phil Spencer did say this is a new game. It looks like an expansion to me, but okay, apparently it's a new game. You could be the emergency services and stuff, so you can be mountain rescue, or you can like try and put out forest fires, or air ambulance and stuff like that, which is interesting. I think that's a really cool idea, but I'm not. I like Flight Simulator as an idea, and I like the idea of exploring the world almost like a travel thing, but I probably won't be picking up the new version of it, to be fair. Might play it on Game Pass, but what do you think?
I still miss playing the Flight Simulator on Xbox, but it didn't keep my interest for too long. Also, some of the things are like meant for PC, like it's a bit clunky to get through some of the menus, but once you get the whole hang of the controls, it's actually more therapeutic because you can like fly through and go through like beautiful skies. So I just put music in the background and ate some honeycomb just to like relax. But
fair.
But I just certainly missed those, and I think there wasn't enough to keep me interested. What I did find interesting is the DLC for it, which isn't particularly clear if it's going to be for the Flight Simulator 2020 or it's for the 2024, because there's a DLC where you just go through some kind of like outer world that has complete with villages and everything, and you get to fly in this like huge dragonfly-esque vehicle.
Oh, do you mean the Dune stuff?
Yeah, that's right.
Dune. Yeah, that was on our notes. Yeah, so there is Dune DLC, yeah, which is going to be tied in with the movie Dune 2 that's coming out next year.
Also, it's just like it's really interesting because even the extended showcase, they built more towards it, and it just like talks more about like how they bought this whole vehicle from the film and then use it to like get this thing into the game. And I have to say, that's really, really interesting. That makes you feel like, oh, you could make this work in the real world, but then the closest you can ever do that is just like play it in a flight simulator. So therefore, that's really cool. Also, the crossovers in it are really spectacular because you can like ride a Pelican, and I think there's some like other vehicles too. Do you know?
Yeah, there's Top Gun, like Maverick and stuff. So you can do the stuff, the jets from Top Gun Maverick and stuff like that. There's a couple of things like that. Yeah, I enjoyed Flight Sim for what it was. As I said, like flying over my house and having a look at it from the sky. I thought that was fun. And just exploring the world, having a look around Tokyo, because I've always wanted to go to Japan and never had the opportunity. So being able to like virtual tourism, I think it's a great thing for virtual tourism because you literally have the entire world 3D modeled to look through. And I think it's really cool. But yeah, I had my fun with it. I literally played it for like 2 days, and then I had a little look around, looked at all the. Like, I went to Old Trafford football ground and stuff like that. Like, just basically looked at all the interesting stuff I'd be interested in seeing in real life. I saw some of them, and then that was about it, really. And I got bored and installed it. But it's cool. Cool if you like that kind of thing. It's kind of a nice, chill game, as you said. I think you're talking about Power Wash Simulator, really. It's kind of like that. It's like if you wanted just a chill game, I think that's the perfect chill game.
Yeah,
for this.
That really worked for me. But I completed the entirety of the game to like move on for it because I squeezed all the juice out from it. The last level was like stupidly long. I don't know if you got to
I haven't played it. No, I haven't played Power Wash, but I've heard it's really good, really therapeutic.
Go play it. It's on Game Pass right now.
All right. See you. Okay, I'll go download it. All right, next up is probably my biggest disappointment of the entire show. I'd already said that, but this is probably the biggest disappointment because I had high hopes for it. Hellblade 2. I thought the trailer was like, is more of the same thing we've already seen. Is this game just a walking simulator? Like, I thought, like, as I said in the extended, it's called Hellblade, not Hell Talk to Yourself. Like, the whole game is about you have the blade of hell. It should be a combat. We still haven't seen any combat for this game.
Have you played the original Hellblade?
Yeah, there's not much combat in that either, is there? I mean, you get the bosses, but that's about it, really. I was hoping that we'd see more combat. I'm a bit disappointed that we haven't seen any more combat.
Yeah,
the trailer was more of the same.
Showcase, the trailer only shows like the cutscene, and it just like shows out all the fancy audio, there's fancy visuals, and it's like really interesting. But then, as you said, no gameplay. So I was hoping to see more of it in an extended showcase, and all they did is like show the behind the scenes where it involves like a huge booth, like a hologram room from the X-Men comics, where it's just like you do all this motion capture with all the PCs there, and shows how well you can like motion capture everything, including their faces and everything. But I think people are more interested in like gameplay and see how it plays. So
yeah, and then also I was also disappointed that it's 2024 and it's not early 2024 or anything like that. I was hoping this would either be our December game, the December-November game, or this would be our early 2024 game, like Q1. The fact that it just says 2024 has my hopes are kind of dashed. I think we're not going to be seeing this until like September, October time next year, if it comes out next year at all. Because it might even get delayed again, which would suck. Because this is the first game we actually saw with the Xbox Series X. This isn't the game they announced the Series X with. So the fact that we still haven't seen combat gameplay is worrying to me, because it's been 3 or 4 years since this was first shown, and we're still none the wiser what the combat looks like. And apparently, she's done training for combat, and they've mocapped it and stuff. But we've not seen it, so why aren't they showing it? It's weird. I don't understand. Probably the funniest. So next up is probably the funniest trailer of the whole conference, the silliest trailer, the one I got the biggest chuckle out of, and one of our first reactions. Yakuza, a.k.a. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Ooh, I'm really looking forward to playing this. It looks so silly. We both said California, I think, but I'm thinking most people think it's actually Hawaii, because Hawaii is closer to Japan, and it would be a straight line from Japan to Hawaii, so we would be able to do that. And it was also surfing and stuff, so it kind of makes sense. So that'd be rad. So yeah, this is the first Yakuza game that's taking place in America.
Well, mind you,
I can't wait to see this.
It's a series on its own way, because there's Like a Dragon, and then it just moved on with the Yakuza name and turned it into its own thing. So so it's just a whole cutscene that just shows the main character. Like, is he called Ryu of some sort?
I can't remember his name now. Ishii, I think his name is.
That guy. Yeah, because he was like, he just wakes up naked on the beach, and then turns out, he just realised he didn't have any clothes on, and then he's just like trying to figure out, what's going on.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it used to be called Yakuza in the West, like over here, but they've changed the name to Like a Dragon recently, but it's still the same series, but it's just they changed the name because Yakuza's got negative connotations. But yeah, so I think that's what happened. Anyway, I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But that's what I think happened. Anyway, but yeah, I liked the previous one. I thought that was a lot of fun. I played quite a bit of it at the launch of the Xbox Series X. Is one of the first games I got on the Series X. It was actually steelbook case for it. It's a lot of fun. Recommend playing it. It's a nice RPG, a bit silly. Never finished it though, but I would like to play some more of it for sure. And the idea of being the Japanese part of the Yakuza end up in Hawaii sounds hilarious to me.
Yes.
I can't wait to see their take on America, because their take on Japan is hilarious. So their take on American culture is going to be amazing. Like Grand Theft Auto do a really good job of parodying American culture. I can't wait to see the Japanese take on that. I cannot wait. This game looks amazing. I can't wait. It's one of my most exciting games, and the trailer was just silly. As I said, he was walking around naked, and they did the whole Austin Powers thing where they just had stuff in the way of his Yakuza, his dragon, his like his bits. They had stuff just randomly in the way, which is an Austin Powers trope, which works really. It's still really funny. I haven't seen that in years. It's hilarious, and it was a funny trailer. I thought it worked really well. I'm really excited.
But mind you, it doesn't have any gameplay with it, and it doesn't give it any indication of what it's truly about. Like, is this something to do that is closer to GTA 5, where you get loads more money and drive fast cars? I mean, I don't know. It didn't really explain much for that single cutscene.
So the Yakuza Like a Dragon is a turn-based RPG with lots of things to do. So it's like a open world, but it's also a turn-based RPG.
Oh, really?
In the modern day, yeah. You have you have a squad of people you team up with. Like in the original one, I say the original, the previous one, because it's like the 8th in the series, but the latest one, you play. I think it's Ishii, and he's obsessed with Dragon Quest, and he wants to basically live Dragon Quest in the real world. And he basically wants to be a real life hero, essentially. And he does and he goes on quests and stuff in Japan, and it's hilarious. It's really funny, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who has get around to playing it. I need to go back and play more of it. I really enjoyed it from what I played. Yeah, really good. He ends up homeless and stuff as well, which is weird. And so I'm really curious how this is going to end up. How did he get to Japan? Hawaii. How did he get from Japan to Hawaii? That's what I want to know. I don't know how that happened. I'm really curious.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Next on our list is Path of the Goddess, which we thought was Onimusha, Capcom are killing it at the moment. It's like a really weird samurai game with like creepy like hands and stuff growing out of the floor, and I don't know. What do you think? I thought it looked really weird, but kind of cool. I don't know.
I think it looks really nice. There's also like the Capcom Spotlight, and this came out, but then they already like shown the trailers again and shown the information already known, with only a few tidbits of information that is unique to it, which is Mega Man X Dive, which is like on mobiles and stuff like that. There's also a game which I can't remember the name of, and there's also a lot more information about Exoprimal, and I'm like, okay. I think
so they merely mentioned Path of the God. I kind of didn't watch the Capcom showcase, so they didn't really mention Path of the Goddess on there, did they?
I think they did. They only shown the trailer again from Xbox Showcase.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing. But I think it looks cool. I'm really excited for it. It looks like maybe like a Onimusha type, maybe like a Dark Souls type game. I'm kind of interested to see how it goes. I'm excited. And this is where your stream died next, where we had a lot of technical issues where we were watching it.
Well, actually, it's to do YouTube coughing up and buffering, and that's because like I've been using subtitles for it, but for some weird reason that it couldn't keep up with the stream and ended up like stalling it. Like it just ended up buffering, and I have to like close Firefox in order to start it up again. So. But when I turn the subtitles off for the extended showcase, it works fine. So weird. Yeah.
So we got to Forza Motorsport. Fast cars look pretty. Not really much more to say than that. I'm going to play it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They make the best racing games on the market. But there's not really much to say about it. Like it's a Forza game, right? It's pretty cars that you can modify and make faster, and you can race around really nice looking tracks. I mean, is there anything you want to add about Forza? Because I don't really think there's much more you can really say.
No, really. I think it already looks really pretty, and there's a lot of interesting gameplay with it, including customizable cars, which is a bit like if you play Forza Motorsport and you're familiar with those things, it's going to be very nice to see it return. The only thing is that it's supposed to be coming out in the middle of this year, but it's just kept getting delays until it says, oh, it's coming out in November. So they better stick to it. 10th. Otherwise, it'll be delayed next year, and that will be a huge bummer about it.
Yeah, so October 10th, I believe, is the date. I was going to mention that, So October 10th, so we're coming out after Starfield, which is like, okay. Like last year, if you asked me what game, like the games we thought were coming out this year, I thought Forza would be coming out first. I thought that would be like a January, February, March, May, like an early year game. I wasn't expecting it to be the last game we played this year. October, big game. That's our big October game is Forza. So we kind of had nothing to play for a while, and then we're going to have a load of Starfield, and then when we finally had enough of Starfield, we're going to have Forza Motorsports to tide us over. So that's going to be interesting. Really intrigued to see more of that. I think it looks fun. I said it's just a racing game at the end of the day, though. There's not really much you can say about it. Okay, so then we have Just Ant by Don't Nod. It is a climbing sim type game. Looks like Eco. You play a boy with a pet monster thing with butt face, and you climb mountains. And I guess it is that boring that it's put you to sleep.
No, it's all right. I thought it looks really interesting and involves climbing. So I think it's just like really interesting, I have to admit. So, but I think it's probably one of those like single or double A games, which I think
it looks cool.
I think it will probably come out, but I think I would rather like know about it when it's about to release. But apart from that, it looks promising.
I mean, I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and that's a lot of climbing like mountains and stuff. And obviously, you get the Uncharted climbing mountains and stuff like that. So, yeah, interesting. Then up next we have, so we're almost at the end of the showcase. Up next we have Still Wakes the Deep, which was a horror game based on an oil rig. Yeah, I'm not into horror, not into oil rigs.
I think it's very close. It's very close to like Deep Fear because it involves an underwater lab and then you have to like escape through it. It's a Sega Saturn game, so you probably want to look that up. But it's very similar where you just like in this single place, which is the rig, and you just have to go through all the horrors that throw at you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then we had Dungeons. The style looks nice. It kind of looks like Ubalik, because it's like a nice cartoony, like painterly art style. You play a girl who has a sword that she can ride as a skateboard. I don't know. And you like explore dungeons and stuff. It looks cool. I'm looking forward to see more. It's like a nice little indie game to check in there. But yeah, I think that's interesting. Not really much to say about that, really. And then one of the big announcements, Keanu Reeves. Yeah. You're breathtaking, all that stuff. We had Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty, which is coming in September, the same month as Starfield. So that's annoying. So I'd like to play both, and they're both coming out at roughly the same time. What do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna fetch us the same kind of price as Dawnguard or any of the DLCs of Skyrim, when it's gonna be like about 20-ish quid or some sort to buy the DLC. So it's definitely going to bring more stuff, but I think there's some like really cool stuff, and there's also Idris Elba in it as well, which kind of adds some more interesting bits along with Keanu Reeves in it. So
we love Keanu. Yeah, I think it looks rad. I'm really excited to play it. I say that, but I haven't played the original Cyberpunk yet, so I need to go back and play that. As I was saying in the podcast, I bought Cyberpunk digitally, and then it wasn't working, so I got it refunded. And then recently I bought the physical version, and it's still in the plastic on my shelf, so I need to play it at some point. Are you interested in playing Cyberpunk?
I'd love to play more of it on Xbox Series X. So, but I don't know if I can get a DLC. I'm more interested to play the main game. But since I'm getting a new PC, you might be thinking like, oh, we should get Cyberpunk on PC for the best experience. But I think the Xbox version is all I need. So
yeah, I mean, I've heard the Xbox version was one of the better versions at launch. From what I heard, so that's interesting. So yay! But I don't know how it is now after the updates and stuff. Hopefully, it's still decent. So then we had City Skylines 2, a city building game like SimCity. City Skyline 1 was a lot of fun. It's a chill game. Another chill game, like we were saying about Flight Sim and Power Wash Simulator. It's a chill game. It's one of those games that's not very stressful. You just build a city.
That's good to know.
It sounds like fun. Building my own little city and being God and smiting people who annoy me.
I think this is definitely one of the games I'm interested to play. And I think it's coming out of the Game Pass. So therefore, yeah, I think I should give this a try when it comes out. Besides, there's not going to be a lot of games for Xbox, at the end of the year. But then last year, I played some like really interesting titles like Power Wash Simulator and even a few others. So it's all good.
Then we had Towerborn. Project Belfry is real. As the game we've been rumored for a while. It is a 4-player action RPG that looks kind of like Castle Crashers, sort of. You got to go to the Belfry and edit your character and stuff. It's 4-player co-op. It's got couch co-op. It looks fun. Big game for next year for Xbox. I'd say it's more like a AA game, but it looks cool. Definitely worth trying. Towerborn. What do you think?
I think it's likely to be quite interesting, and I don't know if it's like it kind of looks like a fighting game, so I don't know if it plays like Golden Axe or Guardian Heroes, where you switch between different lanes to fight enemies. So
yeah, Golden Axe is a good way of putting it. Yeah, I was saying like Castle Crashers is what I was thinking, but yeah, Golden Axe is the same kind of thing as well, or like Rage. Or Ninja Turtles. The new Ninja Turtle game is pretty good. Like that's pretty like
we need to do co-op on that. Maybe tonight or
for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I can check out I should check out with this Starfield controller. That would be it.
Ooh. You just show it off now with my Starfield controller.
Also got the arcade stick as well. So
I would say Ninja Turtles, right? Or we say Streets of Rage.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So off topic a little bit. Which is your favorite Ninja Turtle?
That's difficult, but if it has to be any character in the game, it would be like Donatello.
Ooh, nice. I'm a Leonardo person, which is like kind of obvious. He's the leader of the bunch. But then, as I've grown up, I've kind of respect Michelangelo a lot more. He's kind of grown on me. I like as a person. I feel like I relate to Michelangelo more than he just wants to chill and eat pizza, man. I get that. He just wants to enjoy life.
I just figured out from the cartoon, 80s cartoon, that Raphael, he's a
party dude.
Well, no, Michelangelo is a party dude.
Oh, Michelangelo's
Raphael is chilled. But then he's actually like is pretty much blunt, and also like if you check out one of the videos on YouTube where it has all the clips of like whenever Leonardo talks any heroic things, Raphael often like comes up with some ironic quotes with it.
I love it.
Sarcasm.
Oh yeah, I love it. So yeah, looks like Ninja Turtles or Classic Crashers or whatever. It looks like a 4-player co-op beat 'em up game with like RPG elements. I'm very intrigued to see more. I think it looks really fun, and it looks the art style almost reminds me of the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It kind of has that kind of art style. But the badges look like the goblins from that game, which is really interesting and funny. But yeah. So next up is probably my favorite announcement of the entire show. I would say that's my favorite announcement. My biggest surprise, and I really loved it. Clockwork Revolution. BioShock Infinite meets steampunk, made by the creators of Wasteland.
It's really interesting.
It looks rad. You got time travel, you got steampunk, you got like steampunk guns and steampunk mechs and stuff. And you've messed up the past, which screws up the future and stuff like that. I love that shit. Very Biff Tannen, Back to the Future 2 kind of world when you've messed everything up.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Sonic CD in a way where not only you can like alter time like in blinks, but you can also like go back in time, change events, and it affects the future. And I think this is a kind of gimmick of games that hasn't been like looked at because of the assets, but it looks as if like you can possibly do that and change the future, which makes it very, very interesting. Anyway,
dope. I can't wait.
Well, BioShock Infinite trailer producer highlights similarities with Clockwork Revolution, which Microsoft spoke out and said any similarities are unintentional. Players will be able to fully customize their own main character in the game, which, according to the original story, they just say about Clockwork Revolution, saying it's very similar to the BioShock Infinite trailer, where those things are squashed into the brain. And yes, it's crazy.
I mean, we haven't had a new BioShock for like 5-6 years. Like, why not? It's like if you're gonna copy something, why not copy one of the greatest games ever made? I don't understand what people played it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I think BioShock 1's better than Infinite, but still, interesting. So I'm excited for Clockwork Revolution. I think that's probably gone up right on my list to one of my most anticipated games now. I think that game looks so cool. I'm really excited for it. And then our final announcement before the Star Trek Direct, before the Starfield Direct, was the Xbox Series S Black, 1 terabyte. We kind of talked about it a little bit. We were saying in our previous podcast about predictions there might be a hardware announced, and there was. I'm excited for it. I might buy it. I think it looks pretty cool. What do you think?
I think the Xbox Series S is enough. So, I mean, if anything, I would rather like spray paint it black or in different color if it's about the color. But then I need to learn more about get practice more with spray painting before I spray it, because I think when I spray painted my PC case, it's just like it's a bit blotchy, and there's a lot of things I learned which I should have improved on, which is why I'm not really sure if I would go ahead with like painting the Series S. And I was kind of thinking about Xbox Series X, which is run out of warranty, and then it shut down when I was like clicked on the video to view on YouTube, and I'm like, what? But then I don't want to speak too much, but I'm just a bit iffy about spray painting cases at the moment. But as for the 1 terabyte, I think I would rather get 512 gigabyte WD black and just a bit of memory of.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I don't really care about the color of the console. I think both consoles look rad. The white one looks cool. The black one also looks cool. I think they both look cool, to be fair. I think they both look way better than the PS5. I'm just going to put it out there, design-wise. I think they look really sleek and really cool and elegant. But I would want it for the extra space. I haven't got one yet. If I'm going to buy one, I would get one with the extra hard drive, right? It's what, 50 quid more? I think that's decent. Yeah, I'm totally down for it. I was going to say something and I've totally drawn a blank. No, it's a nice little system, nice little kit. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, well. Definitely worth the money, I think. I would definitely buy one, personally. Yeah, I think it's a good entry point for people to get into Xbox as well. So, yeah, I'm sold on it. I think it looks cool. Yeah, definitely. I'll probably remember in a minute what I was going to say, but I've just drawn a blank.
Well, doing the extended showcase, I think it's worth mentioning about Liza P, and I think it was the first time I was introduced to it.
Oh, right,
but
okay.
I think it's really interesting. Mechanical arm and the blood bond type of things. That. I think there's a lot of really interesting things with it, and to be honest, I think it's really fun, and I have yet to play the demo of it, but I would imagine it's going to be very, very good.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. It looks kind of like Bloodborne. The demo was fun. I said I haven't finished the demo yet, but definitely worth playing, I would say, for sure. Yeah, worth it, definitely. Check it out. Yeah. So we finished with the Xbox conference. Now we're moving on to the Starfield conference. We've already been going for like what, an hour or so? How long have we been going?
1 hour and almost 40 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to try and go for the Starfield Direct quickly. It was 45 minutes of amazing Starfield goodness. I'm excited for this game now.
I think we can squeeze it into like 10 minutes, so we can do that.
Yes, I'm hoping we can do that, yeah. So I've got a couple of notes I wanted to go through. So,
shoot.
Right. So during the conference, it was announced that if you buy the special edition, you can get it 5 days early. Are you going to be paying the extra money to get it early, or are you going to wait until it comes out on September the 6th?
I think I would just wait, just see how it goes. Okay.
I think I'm going to pre-order it. I think £35 to get the season pass and all that, and you can upgrade it on Game Pass. £35 to get it 5 days early. I'm impatient. I did the same. I did that with Forza Horizon 5. I got it 5 days early. And it was worth it. I think it'd be worth doing it. I'd be good for content. I think I'm going to get the 5 day early access for sure.
Yes.
I want to double check that it's like I want to get a firm date of when I can launch it and stuff before I do it though, because it says up to 5 days. So I don't want to pay 35 quid and they go, oh, well, we said up to 5 days, but really we meant 1 day. I was like, wow, you just ripped me off. That's really annoying. Okay, we made a short about it, but the Adoring fan is back. Yes. Hilarious. I think that's the best Easter egg they showed in the whole thing. The Adoring if you don't know, the Adoring fan is a character from Oblivion. It's a fan someone who's a massive fan of you and like basically stalks you and stuff until you basically have to push him off a cliff to get rid of him. And it looks like that character's back in Starfield, one of the most annoying characters in video game history. And it was hilarious, and I can't wait to see more. In the actual direct, they showed him about to get shot, and then it cut away. Yeah. Which is absolutely hilarious. As I said, we made a short of it. There's a short of us reacting to it on the channel, so go check that out. The Adoring fan, cool little nod. I thought that was wicked. So in the Starfield Direct, there was a big thing about how you want to play it, how you're going to play the game. How do you think you're going to play Starfield? Because me personally, when that guy was saying he's going to punch everything, I was like, yes, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be neuro strength mod, I think he called it. Where he just goes around and punches all the enemies, and that's how I want to play Starfield. How are you thinking you're going to play it when you get it?
I don't know. I have yet to find out all those classes, but to be honest, I think all those things is just like makes us some wacky experiences. So
for sure,
I think it's just what really makes it more interesting. Because I think with Skyrim, it's just like get perks if you can do certain things like casting magic or getting better combat. But I think now those things that just like leads to some crazier gimmicks, and I feel this is what really makes this really more interesting for a first-person shooter set in space. It's just wow.
Okay, yeah. So I think I don't know. I like being like run and gun, pull and straight, just as you said, run up to people, just punch them in the face. I find that hilarious, and that's how I usually play these type of games. So I'm imagining that's how I'm going to do it, but we'll see. What kind of ship do you think you're going to build? Because I was thinking I'm going to try and build a small ship that's fast that I can do good dogfights in. But I don't know. What do you think? Are you thinking of building like the Millennium Falcon or like the Starship Enterprise? What kind of stuff are you thinking?
I think of the building this ship that's closer to Firefly, something that allows for better navigation and exploration, which also packs in firepower, because I think I would rather build a ship that serves a purpose, but then it reminds me of like Faster Than Light, which is a small indie game for 2015, I think, where you just build a spaceship and then you have to organize for your crew to deal with any attacks on it. So, but yeah, it's just quite fun. But I think a lot of it's like you go down, explore planets, and go into like dungeons being sites or outposts. Yeah. So I think this part is just what I find the most exciting, and they even like put an extra dimension of to do with like dogfighting as well, which I have to admit,
so good.
that just really makes it a huge game. Also, there's a promise from like Bethesda that it's going to be shipped with the fewest amount of bugs as possible, and I'm like, oh, good luck with that, because Skyrim and Oblivion were launched with a bunch of bugs around.
Yeah, well, apparently they've been testing it for a whole year, basically, and they were initially going to launch this game like 2 years ago almost, or a year and a half ago. So they've given it extra time to polish and stuff. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Well, bear in mind that when you have the game that has so many planets for you to explore, that is a huge... How do I put? It's a hugely ambitious project, and it just makes me wonder how you be able to explore different planets in such a such a small download. It just makes me think as if they're just gonna grab any of the planets from the internet server, so you'll be able to get loads of planets, and you have so much to do. So, but either way, it's extremely promising. And after seeing the trailer for like 40 minutes, which I have to admit, there's so much information. It's crammed so much information that you feel you've seen enough and you want to play a game. And yes, I want to play the game now. So yeah, it's a pity it didn't came out last year, though.
It would have been great, because last year was a bit of a barren year, wasn't it? We had Grounded last year. We had Vampire Survivors and Pentiment, but yeah, it would have been nice to have something like this last year to keep us tided over. But I'm still excited to play it. I mean, you got to the point where I was going to. That was the next point I was going to make. Is this the biggest game in Xbox history? There's a couple of ways we could take this. Obviously, physically, is this the biggest game ever? I think yes. 1,000 planets. It is massive. If you're just going to look into the scope of the game, I think it's probably the biggest game ever made. Possibly. What do you think?
I think it's going to be very, very ironic, because it's made by Bethesda, which is owned by Microsoft. So, yeah. I mean, if you consider Bethesda to be part of the Xbox family and they only release games for Xbox and PC, then, yeah, that would be the biggest Xbox game ever. But just don't expect this to come out on the PlayStation 5, unless you want everything on Xbox to be on PlayStation. I mean, no.
No, that's not happening. Yeah, then obviously the other question, like the same question, but just rephrased, I suppose. The biggest game in Xbox history, is this going to be like the biggest? Is this the console? Is this the system seller? The original Xbox was like everyone called it the Halo box for Combat Evolved. Do you think this is going to be the thing that gets people to buy Series X's and Series S's? I think this is the killer. This is the killer app. As long as it's not broken like Cyberpunk. But if it comes out and it's great, then it's the killer app.
Well, I think what you can do is like bundle it with Xbox Series S, because that's all you need. Just a small console, has all the power, And as long as you don't mind about it not being 4K, you're all good to go. And also, the Series S is like still cheap, which I'm gonna look up on Amazon and see how much it is at the moment, because I remember buying this for like 200 quid. So, it's gone back to about 240, I would say. So, I purchased this on 25th of November. Moving on. That's how much you
even better than bundling it with Starfield, bundle it with Game Pass. You say to people, you get a Series S with Starfield and hundreds of other games like Halo and Grounded and Forza and all these other amazing games, all for the one monthly price. Come on now. Come on. You like get the Black Series S, get Game Pass, and just have fun, guys. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna welcome you. Well, join us. Join the Xbox family. We want more of you here. Join us. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be great.
Wasn't it bundled with? It's gonna be huge. Wasn't it bundled with Game Pass already for the bundle?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Game Pass is a good selling point, though. Or I suppose you could bundle it with a digital version of Starfield. Why not? It'd be great. Either way, I think it's gonna be fantastic.
It's
and
kind of
your money.
It's kind of a bit weird that I thought it's already it's already in stock, but it seems as if you cannot get it easily on Amazon at least. So I don't know.
September 1st, the black one comes out. It comes out September 1st. They announced.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Xbox Series X. So
okay.
I don't think there's a lot of it, but you still get like Xbox Series S. So buy that one instead, please.
Yeah.
Also, PlayStation 5. Looks as if you can buy it.
Why would you do that?
No, it's sold
by other
retailers, so
it's a piece of crap. Right? No, I like my PS5.
Oh, you can get them.
Played it in a while.
I was in stock, so you can get them for like 480 quid, which I imagine the Xbox Series S X is cheaper. But then all of those systems are expensive anyway. Even the digital console is like 390 quid. So I think it's more sensible for you to get the Xbox Series S. So that's what I would do.
Get the Series S, especially because I got a big TV downstairs, but it's not 4K. So I'm thinking I might buy a Series S for that. You know, so if I want to play games downstairs, I can just play them on that, or in my office. I mean, it's good to have options. Yeah, I'm really excited for Starfield. I think it's going to be great. I think this could be the biggest game in Xbox history. Do you think it might be because the Game Pass, it makes it difficult, but do you think this could be the highest selling game in Xbox history? Skyrim has now sold 60 million copies, so it's up there. And there's already pre-orders for this. It's number one on Steam, even though we can get it on Game Pass day one. Apparently it's number one on Steam at the moment after the Direct. And sales of Xbox have skyrocketed since the Starfield Direct as well. I mean, there's people complaining about 30 frames a second, but it seems like a lot of other people don't care. They're really interested in this game and really want to get into it. So I'm excited it's a really exciting time to be an Xbox fan. I think it's going to be great. I hope it's going to be great. If it's a letdown now, I'm going to be really upset. Please be good. I don't want another Redfall, please. I'm going to cry if it's another Redfall, I swear. But yeah. So we're almost done. Just a couple more things I wanted to mention before we finish. They showed off the limited edition. We already talked about the Xbox, the controller and the headphones, which both look really nice. You got the controller. I'm hopefully getting the controller tomorrow when I pick it up from the post office. The headphones look nice as well. They're like 100 quid though, so it's quite expensive.
I just want to point out that you can currently get Xbox Series X on Amazon for roughly the same price as the PlayStation 5, where you can either get the Labo 4 or Forza 5 with it, with all the DLC.
Get Diablo 4 and Xbox and just get Game Pass and just enjoy life. Team Xbox here for sure. And also they also showed off the limited edition, which comes in a case. It's like what NASA used in the moon landings, I think they said, with like a weird lock on the front, which has the Starfield watch that connects to your phone. I think it's like 500 quid or something ridiculous. But it's cool, limited edition. Is that anything, like, are you interested in any of these limited editions or anything? I said I might get the upgrade pack that's like £35 with all the DLC and stuff. from Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass already, you pay £35, you get all the DLC, a couple of extra things, and you get 5 days early access. So I think that's worth £35. I think I probably will do that. I want to kind of see some reviews or see how it looks before I do it, though. I want to, gauge it a little bit before I put money in. So that's the limited edition. So then there's one last thing I just wanted to ask you. So what is your hype level for Starfield? Scale of 1 to 10, what will be your hype level? 9. Wow. Considering you're like 6 for this conference, like you have how much you're interested, you're like, the conference. I would say 9 as well. I'm very excited. I thought before this conference, I was like, Tears of the Kingdom's my game of the year, no matter what happens. There's no way in a million years the Starfield's going to take it over. It might. It might do it. It might be my game of the year. Tears of the Kingdom is probably my favorite game of all time now. Starfield.
Yeah.
That direct blew my mind. I'm so excited for this game. I can't stop thinking about it. I just want to play it. I just want it now. That's why I'm like, I'll pay 5 days, pay to get 5 days early because I'm impatient. I can't wait any longer. I just need it. Give me it. I want it. Starfield looks amazing. Can't wait to build ships and explore the galaxy and find my own planet to jerk off as you and send lewd. So that was like that's a callback to a previous episode. But no, I'm really looking forward to Starfield. 9 or 10 out of 10 for me, the hype level. I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited for a game in a long time. Very excited for it. I'm really excited. Can't wait. Ooh, I hope it's good. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. I will cry if it sucks. I will cry. Don't suck. I mean, this is Todd Howard's passion project. I feel like it's got to be good. Surely, I hope so. And that's our episode. Do you have a Alice asks question, or we wrap it up?
Just wrap it up because it's about to be 2 hours.
Okay.
But then I would have to say that. Well, I've been like dozing off, but
I know you have. Sorry.
So Starfield, I feel that it's really interesting game, and I really enjoy like watching the direct. So this is the only game that I am truly excited for, and I hope it comes out in September because I think there's a lot of fun things for me to play a game, and there's even the open world as well. So I think there's a lot of potential, which is also I'm hoping it doesn't suck. But as for the other games, I must have to admit there's a few games that are not AAA and not like by Microsoft that are really interesting, which are like Cities 2. There's I mean, the games from the PlayStation Showcase, I think the Marathon is like really interesting, I have to admit.
Marathon, Metal Gear Solid, Marathon. There's a load of really good games coming out in the next couple of years. I'm very excited.
But also there's like really good games like I think I just like trying to process them all. But honestly, I think there's a few games like Towerborn, and there's a few others too. But I think the main game, the primary game that if I have to choose one this year will be Starfield, and that is definitely I will be going for it.
I mean, if you said to me at the beginning of the year that Spider-Man 2 would be like 4th or 5th in my priority list, I would be like, you're crazy. Because I love Spider-Man. I think that game is fantastic. And I was like, one of the reasons I bought a PS5. But Starfield, but I'm much more excited for that. I think Tears of the Kingdom is probably better than Spider-Man. I'm not really comparing the two, but I'm just saying, I'm excited for Spider-Man, but nowhere near as excited as I am for Starfield. Oh my god, I'm so excited for Starfield. I need this game in my life right now. This shit is insane.
I'm doing the design labs for the controller, and I was like trying to go over the same configuration, only you have like the rubberized grips. You had to add the back and side grips, and altogether you just add £10 for it. So what you're basically paying for is £3 more than the Starfield controller, which is like really ironic. Also, you cannot color the back grips and even get clear triggers as of yet. So, yeah.
So you're better off getting the Starfield controller, which I'm really looking forward to getting mine tomorrow. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to keep it and just put it on the shelf and just look at it, or if I'm actually going to use it. I think I'll use it.
Just use it. You'll feel better because of the rubber grips.
Ooh, yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for my controller, and I can't wait for Starfield. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy the showcase this year? What was your favorite game of the show? Don't just say Starfield, that's boring. What was your favorite game apart from Starfield? For me, it would probably be Clockwork Revolution. I'm very excited for that game. But yeah, I think this was a fantastic showcase. I thought the Starfield Direct was fantastic. I'm very excited for the future of Xbox. And I'm happy that I've invested in Xbox now. This makes me a happy Xbox owner, and I think we are going to eat good for the next couple of years, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for our podcast this week. Thank you for listening. Is there anything else you wanted to say before I wrap it up?
That's all.
We really appreciate your time. Me and Alice have both been pretty poorly. You haven't had much sleep. I haven't had much sleep, so we're both probably going to have...
not poorly,
just
yes, tired.
I'm poorly / tired.
There's a difference between tired and sick and tired, and I'm not sick and tired.
I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of you saying things like that. No, yeah, it's too hot for me. I'm melting. I got to put the fans on high in a minute and just try not to. My dog's next to me. She's like a hot water bottle. I love her to bits, but she's too warm. Yes. Anyway, I will. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. We've just hit over 100 subscribers the last couple of weeks, and we really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, please comment, leave us a like, and subscribe, and share it with your granny and your sister and your mother and all that. Well, everyone, just share it with everyone you know. And thank you guys for watching. And until next time, too sweet. Goodbye.
Bye.
Jazz hands.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.